Hello, I am your new favorite, JJ Caballero, joined by the lovely Goins, Casey Goins. And this is Mono Stereo Video, a podcast about movie music. I'm a songwriter, producer, DJ, while Casey is an amazing hairstylist and salon owner. And we love movies, and this is the perfect excuse to talk about music and movies. How's it going, my love?
Good. How's it going with you? How was your day?
It was nice. I feel like I've been in here all day. Mm-hmm. Which is, it's okay. Like, that's pretty cool. I like the way that feels. Mm-hmm. Like, productive-ish. Mm-hmm. Productive-ish. Hold on, real quick. Yeah. I'll just keep it like that. Yeah, productive-ish. I am about to release a single, hopefully by the end of June. So like, today, I actually I need to bounce and, like, send it to your phone and test it out in the car.
Okay.
So maybe after this, we'll see how we feel and stuff. Maybe tomorrow.
Well, yeah, because tomorrow we have Jazz's performance.
Oh, yeah, so we can listen on the way there. Okay, okay. We'll do that. Either way, how are you feeling? How's your day been?
It was good. It wasn't like a busy day, but I felt like I was at work all day. It was weird.
Yeah, and
but it's also because we didn't get very much sleep.
So we're back, baby. We're back. This is our first record post vacation. My first record. I gave a little bit of a rundown of, like, we went to Crow World. We went to Just Like Heaven. I didn't go into, like, much detail, but how do you feel about vacation?
I mean, of course, I always wanted to be longer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was nice. It was nice having as many days as we had.
It was so nice being out in LA. Shout out to Eddie, Luan, Jorda. Who else out there? The neighbors.
Oh, the landlord.
The landlords. Shout out to them. Either way, it was a great day. It was a great time out there. We had so much fun. It was
so many bands, lots of music.
We saw so much.
So full of music.
Ministry, Placebo. I don't know. Who was your favorite? Was it Placebo? Was it your favorite?
Yeah, I mean, it was just fulfilling to see. Like, I never thought I would ever see them.
Right.
And they were, like, the ultimate for me in high school. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah. We went to Amoeba Records. It's my first time ever being there. I don't know. It felt really nice. This time coming back to El Paso it's been a little somber. So we've been back for a while now, and, like, we've just been working. Like, we just got back and worked.
Yeah.
And then we had some days off, a little bit, kinda.
It didn't feel like we had days off, but we weren't actually, like, off doing nothing.
Yeah. It was like, and yesterday was, like, our first full day off together. Mm-hmm. Like, it was nice because we had the breakfast and we made fish and swam. We had pancakes. We went and grilled some fish and corn and asparagus, and we swam.
That was nice. We floated.
And
I don't ever really swim. I just float.
And then we had the picadillo. I picked up our medicine, and that medicine was good. That one was good. Yeah, that's a good medicine. And then, we had to go to Pam's house.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got home at 3 a.m. after that. That was
like 3:30 in the morning.
Oh, man. I'm glad that we didn't have to start early.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But this is actually a late record for us. And I knew that some of that stuff we needed to recap and catch up with each other on how the day went, and recap with you guys on the vacation. Was a lot of fun. We really love LA, and I don't know, we're keeping our eye out there. We really love LA. We really love it out there. Shout out to our LA listeners. Shout out to our international listeners. This is Mono Stereo Video. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Just in general, it's been really cool to see the numbers pile up. I don't know how to read any, like, comments on anything on any of the streaming things. Like, if we have, like, a comment on Spotify, I don't know how to read that. I haven't seen anything on Apple.
How come or what?
I don't know. It's like I can't find it. I can't. I don't know how to. I don't know if it's like hidden. I don't know if they're not doing that. If it's just stars. I don't know what the fuck.
Oh, okay.
But Apple Podcasts. Feel free to leave comments. Feel free to share. That helps like the algorithm stuff. So monostereo video on that. Share it. Like it. Write little comments because that'll help like spread the word on like things that you already also listen to, and it like attaches to that, and it's a bunch of data stuff, but it helps us as a DIY organization here as well. Working on the Patreon. I said last time I'm gonna do like a donation tier and then a special tier with extra episodes and extra little things, but that I'm going to release like every so often one of the special episodes on the main feed so that everybody can experience that and it can be a little more, so things like that'll help us out. All right. Okay. We're back in Wendy Carlos world. We're in the middle of Wendy Carlos world. Like smack dab in the middle of Wendy Carlos world. We're doing the 1980 film horror classic, one of my favorite movies, The Shining.
Yeah. I always want to say The Shining. Was it The Simpsons?
Was that The
Shining?
Yeah.
That's what always pops in my head.
Stanley Kubrick directed The Shining. It's, I mean, if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to chide you or anything because I know some people are scared. I feel like
it's one of those. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it.
But I know that there are people that are like the same as like, oh, I'll never watch The Exorcist.
Like that's what I was going to say. Because of my mom, like I didn't watch this movie until like way later because anything she was scared of, automatically I was going to be scared of it too. So
I didn't watch this until probably when I moved out with Jake, so 18 through like 20, like in my early 20s probably, I saw this. And then I bought it. I own it. We rented it. I don't know where my copy is. It's probably I think it's at my mom's, but I wouldn't doubt if it's in one of these boxes.
I'm sure.
I wouldn't doubt if it's in one of these boxes, and I wouldn't have had to rent it. I also wouldn't doubt if it's if it is in one of the things that we have.
I'm sure it is.
Fuck.
Doesn't matter.
It's okay because there are some cool special features on that DVD. There was a cool documentary that was like there's some good behind the scenes footage and stuff of Jack Nicholson, of Shelley Duvall. We'll go over the cast list right now. But how did you feel upon this rewatching of it?
Oh, of course, like after seeing things like a bajillion times, like you always notice something new. So there was a bunch of stuff where it was like, oh, and then, it made me like wonder about stuff.
Yeah, it did. I had some time with the pacing this time. I guess I'm paying attention to that in movies recently. I think that's been my thing. Like, okay, what's the pace of this? Like, how are we watching this? We just recently saw Furiosa, and that was just zooming.
Yeah.
Yeah. It took its time, though, but it was like, it was packed with a lot of stuff. Yeah. But
I was surprised they spent as much time on her as a child as they did. Yeah. But I'm glad because it's like, well, it's an origin story. Like,
Great one. Great one. You guys should check it out. It was sick. Fucking sick. Anyway, this movie is fucking sick. I love this movie so much. The pacing on this one this time, this version that we watched was a better looking version than my DVD transfer because my DVD it's like one of the old school DVDs. I think it's like a paper DVD. Or no, it might be the plastic one. No, it might be like a plastic one. It might be a plastic. But anyway, it looked clearer on this TV this time than I've remember it looking back. But at the same time, I like old movies looking grimy and old, honestly. Like,
yeah, I like the grittiness to older movies and stuff, but it's still because he uses such bold, bright colors. Yeah. Like, you can tell the difference from just that. Like, when it's, you know what I mean?
I'm going to say this right up top. I feel like Wendy Carlos is the most punk rock composer that we've kind of covered. Yeah. Because, like, the movies that she chooses, the 3 films that she actually like that she did an immense amount of work on of music. Clockwork Orange, super, pushing the boundaries. This one, it's. I mean, Stanley Kubrick's movies are pretty like they push boundaries. They're in your face. They're pretty punk rock in their own right. And then Tron's like a trend, trend-setting science fiction and shit like that. But she also like, how can I say it? Like, she's trans, like, but she was just she didn't have to be. Like, how can I say it? She doesn't have to be an advocate for it or anything. She just wanted to be who she was, which I think makes her more like, you just be who you are. That's fucking, I love that shit. Like, I love when people are who they are. I don't know. I think it's super punk rock of her. Just the more I was reading about her, like, about this and everything, the history on this one was that they were in talks with Stanley Kubrick about it. They had seen her and Wendy Carlos and Rachel Elkland had seen an early cut. It was a longer cut as well. I believe that Wendy Carlos did read the novel. She didn't say anything extensive about it or anything, but that it was interesting, just like the Anthony Burgess novel and such, and that she submitted tons of music, which we're going to cover today. I think this is also not all of it. I read that there's hours worth of music. On some things in her website, she doesn't specifically say like, I don't know if she said specifically over 3 hours of music. But it was also not all used on the film. The only actual like streaming release has 2 songs. It's just a 2-song, and it was actually released as a record like that, like side A, side B. Wendy Carlos, The Shining, which I'll talk about right now. But this is where she was like, I don't want to work with Stanley Kubrick anymore because of the choice of like the stuff that she did do and the stuff that he didn't use. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So it was just like what was left. It was kind of like why the fuck did I waste my time?
Yeah.
Like, it was like why did I waste my time? I had all this stuff, but it's still the stuff that we heard is fucking amazing and such. But why did we waste my time? The stuff did see the sun, the sun of light. It did see the sun of light. Did see the light of day. The music came out on the 2005 compilations that were released called Rediscovering Lost Scores. There were 2 volumes of that. And the entire... So what we listened to, that link that we listened to from YouTube... It was all stuff that was compiled from the Rediscovering Lost Scores in conjunction with what was actually used on the film.
Okay.
So that was compiled later, but this was all released as well as like on those Rediscovering Lost Scores, other music from like Clockwork Orange and Tron and things that weren't used and stuff. So that's pretty cool. I'd love to find that shit. That'd be really cool. But yeah, this is where she said that Stanley Kubrick and like kind of like she didn't say he can fuck off or anything, but it was kind of like that sentiment, like this fucking guy. Yeah, It was also later in that one article that I read by Arthur Bell, the Playboy one. She did say that he was like, I don't want to put words in her mouth. But the description that she gave of like the way that he kind of like observed her without knowing that she was her, that she had to kind of present as a man, that Kubrick took a picture of her and like, I guess, I don't know if it was like more of like a curiosity or of like, what's up with you? That type of thing. So that might have rubbed the wrong way, So it might have just not like the music for what it is amazing and it's cool stuff. But their relationship didn't have to continue or anything. So that's what that is on that. Man, I just talk, huh? Like I wait for you sometimes. Well,
because there's like I have no information on that. So I'm just like, I'm receiving it just as much as you read it. So I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. Last time on the last episode, I believe in the show notes, I set up this link for the stuff that we're listening to today, so that everybody could listen to the full score of Wendy Carlos stuff that we listened to. Because, like I said, like the production. Oh man, there's a lot about the production of this. There's a lot already. Like this film is just. There's a lot already. Like there's whole documentaries. There's so many podcasts. Fucking. Did you ever see that documentary? The documentary, The Room 237.
I don't think so.
It's about like the different conspiracies that people have read into this movie. Like Danny's, like his Apollo rocket thing was like. There's so much imagery about. The planets and the Apollo rocket that people think that that's Kubrick signaling that, oh yeah, I'm the dude that shot the moon landing and it wasn't actually the moon landing. It's that it's wild. It's a wild documentary. It's by the same dude that did The Nightmare. Okay. So it's really cool. We might see it one day. It's calming, so it can be a memes movie, in all honesty. Like we could watch it many times and just kind of it can be a sleepy movie. Yeah. But a lot of that going on, a lot of the movie music and stuff, like it wasn't, there was licensing issues. So that's the only reason that what is released is the side A, side B, Wendy Carlos thing. Yeah. So yeah, it's just, there's a lot of weirdness about that going on. It's a lot to dig through and such. Cast list. All right. Fuck. Son of a bitch. That's why I took the 49.5 episode, because I was like, I know I need to say a bunch of shit. I know I'm gonna say a bunch of shit about this movie. Just there's a lot to say. I don't know. Jack Nicholson is Jack Torrance. What can we say about Jack Nicholson? I mean, the first thing I think I can remember him in is Batman.
Yeah, I think that's true for me too. I'm trying to think. Like, I don't remember seeing him as a young person. Right. Like, he was already just an older man. Yeah.
Yeah, right? Like, he wouldn't have been
I never saw him young until I was older, and then it was like, oh.
Funny.
I was like, oh. But it's like he just never had hair anyway. Like, even when he was young, he just didn't.
He had a 5 head. He had a me head. I have a 5 head. I mean, Jack Nicholson, what can we say? American actor. He's been in so many big things. Batman, like we said, the first Tim Burton one was what I remember him from. Also, Mars Attacks. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. The Departed, most recently. Roman Polanski's Chinatown, one of my favorite movies. That's one of my favorite movies. It is a slow burn too. That one's a slow burn. I like that one a lot. The Witches of Eastwick. That movie fucking rocks. Yeah. What else? Did you ever see like The Bucket List or like something? Did you ever see or Something's Gotta Give? Any of those?
Oh, Something's Gotta Give. We had it on DVD, so I saw that movie so much. Yeah. Yeah.
That's
no. As Good as It Gets.
As Good as It Gets.
As Good as It Gets.
Something's Gotta Give is a Nancy Myers.
Which one's that one?
It's him and Diane. What's her face? Diane Keaton. Yeah. And then which one's As Good as It Gets again?
With Helen Hunt.
Is that the dog one? Yeah. He has a little dog? Okay. That's... So what's up with these movies with Jack Nicholson, like, as an older man, rom-com, in the real world? What is that? What's that movie about? What's that?
As Good as It Gets?
Yeah. I think I've seen it, but I don't know.
He's basically an older man, but he has OCD. And so, like, he's very particular, and, like... Helen Hunt basically throws a wrench in his life, but he, like, has feelings for her. So he's, like, trying to, like, go out of his comfort zone to prove to her, like, that he cares about her. And she's just, like, she is, like, annoyed with him, but, like, gives him a chance. And then her son has like this terrible illness. Like, it's a whole thing. Yeah.
I love you so much. I love that you had that like off the top of your head. Like you fucking.
I saw that movie so many times. So many times.
I love you so much. You're my favorite. Shelley Duvall is Wendy Torrance. I'm Shelley Duvall. Hi, I'm Shelley Duvall. Have you ever seen that supercut?
Yeah, I remember you told me. Yeah, I think you made me watch it, or like you showed it to me or something.
She was amazing in this. Like this movie, like I don't want to say like, oh, everybody says like, oh, this broke her. But it fucking kicked her ass.
Yeah,
because like Stanley Kubrick, like the guy that you have to, he has to do 50 plus shots. Of the 50 plus takes of the same shot. Mm-hmm. She's fucking yelling and crying through like the majority of the fucking second half of the movie. Just in duress, just like in pain. How many takes of that? How many days she had to be like that? Like this, and then they were all secluded out in the snow. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like it fucked her up. Texan, born in Texas. I think she's still resides. I think as like in her old age, she resides here. She kind of came. She was the kind of like she secluded herself. She was like reclusive for a while. She came out in like a Vanity Fair interview or something like that. She's fine. She's living her life. Let's see. Time Bandits. What do you remember Shelley Duvall from?
I mean, honestly, the only other thing, I know she was like a model and stuff, but the only other thing I can honestly think of is like the Popeye,
that's right. Popeye.
But I don't even know that I've actually seen it, or if I remember the cartoon, or if I don't, you know what I mean? Like I don't know if I've seen it or not.
That's a Robert Altman. I want to find that movie. We need to watch that. Let's see. I mean, she was also in Frankenweenie, the live action version of it. Annie Hall. I remember that.
See, and that's funny because I was just reading something about Diane Keaton the other day, and it talked about Annie Hall.
Okay.
That is basically about her. Like, she's playing herself, kind of.
Oh.
And a lot of her wardrobe in the movie was her own clothes. Like, she just wore her own clothes. And that became such like a fashion trend during that time.
Shelley Duvall.
So Shelley Duvall was in that movie? Annie Hall?
Yeah, she was. She was also, she had her, it was like Shelley Duvall's like fairy tale theater, I think it was called. That's where a lot of those, hi, I'm Shelley Duvall came from. Like and I remember seeing like, that's an early memory of me and my parents' divorce. Like I'm 3 years old. My dad's picking me up, and we're at his shitty apartment off of George Dieter, and it's 6 a.m. and of course I'm awake, and it's super dark outside, and like I see Shelley Duvall's Fairy Tale Theater, and I'm all stoked, so stoked about it. Just like I don't know. It was just it was like, you know, when you'd get those like free weekends of Disney Channel, or like my family would have those pirata tubes that would go out like once they figured out that you had that tube and shit. 90s kids, the 90s. You'll never learn. You'll never learn. You'll never know. You'll never learn. We're barely on Shelley Duvall. Danny Lloyd was Danny, the young boy in this. I think he's just kind of like that. That was like it. His best known role is Danny Torrance. Let's see. I think he just kind of made appearances in things that were like, you know, related to The Shining, or maybe making fun of The Shining, you know, things like that. So yeah, he's let's see, he's a dude now. He's probably a dad. Who knows? Probably a dad. Scatman Crothers as Dick Halloran. He was awesome in this. He was awesome in this. He was like a singer and dancer early on. Let's see, like, and then he got into just more acting roles and stuff. I want to say, like, I mean, you know, Scatman, like he's a Scatman, and he did things like that. But this was like a turning point for him as a an actor, and like after this, the roles that he got were like he got more roles and stuff. I loved him in this. He's like my favorite in this movie.
I feel like he was able to be the most natural.
Yes.
In this, like,
yes,
you know what I mean?
And like, it starts off as he's like, it's like that. I don't know. I tend to like characters that start off creepy, but then they're like, oh, we're friends. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of those like in Labyrinth. You know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of like Muppets that have that like Muppet. You know, those more serious Muppet movies and stuff. There's like, can I trust this guy? And then in the end, it's like, okay, I could trust this guy. He probably betrayed me, but I could trust this guy. But like, he seemed a little menacing, but then it's like, no, he's good. He's the guy that's gonna help. So, Scatman Crothers, he rocks. He was also in One Flew Over This Cuckoo's Nest. I think that's what it was. I think it was Jack Nicholson brought him over to The Shining from working with him on One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. That's what it was. Yeah. He rocked. Dick Halloran also shined in this. Yeah. Shined. Dick Halloran. Scatman Crothers. Barry Nelson as Mr. Ullman was the boss, the manager of the hotel. He's in a lot of stuff. Airport. Johnny Eager. Okay, that sounds cool. Yeah, a lot of older movies. Let's see. Oh, Grady. Grady was played by Philip Stone. Philip Stone was also in A Clockwork Orange. Huh. I guess he's like a frequent collaborator of Kubrick also, because he was also in Barry Lyndon. I had mistakenly thought that the bartender was Grady at first, but then I as many times as I've seen this movie, I forgot the restroom scene that he like bumped into him with the avocado. I looked up what that avocado was. It looked gross. It was like a
drink.
It was like a brandy, creamy, yellow drink. Yeah, it looked gross. But yeah, Grady. Joe Turkel. Joe Turkel was Lloyd, the bartender. He's also what's his face in Blade Runner.
That's what I was wondering. Yeah. I'm like, he looks familiar, but I couldn't think
He's
of
also
why.
The main antagonist in Blade Runner. Fuck, what was his name in Blade Runner? Fuck, what was his name? Eldon Tyrell. Dr. Tyrell. Yeah. That's wild, huh? That's cool. Let's see, who else? I mean, mainly it's that. Like, there's a man in a dog suit. There's
the girl.
Oh, the twins, the Grady twins. The Grady twins were played by, let me see. Oh, the young woman in the bath was Leah Beldam, and the old woman in the bath was Billy Gibson. Let's see, the Grady daughters were Lisa and Louise Burns, the Burns twins. I mean, they're kind of like the most, I guess, I would say iconic thing of the iconic duo people in this film. Like,
yeah,
they're every Halloween.
That's an option for a Halloween costume.
Every year for a couple, all the time. What else is popular? Here's Johnny. How was that one? How'd I do? Was that good? Here's Johnny. Hey. Did you like that?
I can't.
Did you like Here's Johnny?
I can't with you.
So to give a quick, as quick a summary as I can about this movie, like, it's Jack Nicholson is Jack Torrance, and his wife is Wendy, and their son Danny. He's a recovering alcoholic, been sober for 5 months. He's a writer, former teacher, and gets a job at this hotel as the caretaker of the hotel. It's a haunted hotel.
5 months while it's closed.
5 months while it's closed. It's a haunted ass hotel. And as they go along, the family figures that. But the twist in this is it's called The Shining because Danny has some special abilities in which it's also adapted from a Stephen King novel. I fucking forgot a whole thing about this Stephen King novel. Stephen King wrote this based off of like he spent some time in a hotel. He did the whole thing. I'm sure I don't know if he experienced, whatever he experienced, but he did this thing and he wrote this novel. It's a whole, everybody knows about this. I don't know, like if you can dig into it. There's a lot of deeper, more detailed podcasts that you can listen to about this and stuff. But yeah, it's a book. I have the book. Did you ever read the book?
I didn't read the book.
No. Have you ever read any Stephen King books?
I can't remember.
I'm trying to think. I started reading it.
I can't say that I have because I was probably too scared.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's scary. His novels are scary. That stuff's scary. But I have The Shining. I started reading it, never finished it. So there's that whole layer to this too. So it's a trifecta: Wendy Carlos, Stephen King, Stanley Kubrick. But I mean, they also Stephen King doesn't like this. I think he liked the Dr. Sleep adaptation. Mm-hmm. Dr. Sleep, fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm. So good.
That fucking movie. I think we need to own it. We just need to buy it. Mm-hmm. I think so. Yeah. So that's all that. And yeah. So the twist on this is that Danny is somewhat clairvoyant, and Jack is also kind of attached to, he feels like he's been there before. I don't know if he's like that. So I don't know if that's what that meant at the end. Like, if he's that man reincarnated.
I feel like it is. Like, I mean, they'd say that it's left open to interpretation, but it's like the whole bathroom scene for me solidified it before they even showed the picture, because he's
what do you mean?
When he's talking to him, he's just like, "No, sir, you're the caretaker. You've always been the caretaker, and I've always been here." So it's just kind of, it's like he already knew him.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So that for me was like before they even showed the picture. So it's like they're basically telling you already, that that's why he was drawn to the hotel, or that's why he already had the issues, because he was already there. So, and the hotel called him back,
and that's a big thing in Dr. Sleep as well. Like, it's calling at you, and I mean, Danny. It's even calling to Danny in the form of the little boy inside his mouth, Tony, who's the way that he expresses his clairvoyance, I guess, or do you think Tony's an actual thing, an actual being?
That's what I couldn't figure out either, because I know in Dr. Sleep they don't ever really talk about it,
right? I think he mentions it a little. He tells what's her face about Tony,
but it's I wish it didn't. I don't know. I didn't know how to interpret it. Yeah. If it was somebody talking to him, or if it was his conscience, or just a coping mechanism, because.
Yeah. I mean, this also is reflective of Stephen King's own alcoholism. He had trouble battling alcoholism, and he was writing this, and Jack Torrance it's also it could be interpreted as a parable for that, and just the cycle of abuse that the female partner has to endure as well.
Or just how how as soon as he okay, of course, how they had to mention that they take away the alcohol.
Yeah.
During every season, they don't leave any there. And when he's when he's imagining he's sitting there and he's drinking scotch or whiskey or whatever, it's just how even alcohol turns you into a different person.
Yes.
But it's he wasn't even really actually drinking anything. You know what I mean?
Right. That's
and
what
it's still just the possession of the hotel. You know what I mean? Did the same reaction as when he was drinking. But just how it was the switch, automatic. He just resented the wife. As soon as he started to drink, he just resented her.
And it was alluded to that. So Delbert Grady, who bumps into him with the advocate later, was actually the previous caretaker who killed his daughters, who are the Grady twins, and the wife. Chopped them up into little bits, and we are left to assume that it was because of the spirits, they called to him and stuff. And we also know that Dick Halloran is Shine. He's a Shine. Also, he explains to Danny what it is. We know that they're not the only ones that do it, and as fate would have it, they end up in this place together, both doing it, and Dick Hallorann helps Danny out. For a fatal flaw, he dies later as Jack is possessed. He kills him with an axe. He chops him.
I didn't remember that part either. I didn't remember that he went there in the snowcat for them.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't remember that he went back for them.
This time I was like, I kept writing snowcat. They're in the snowcat. And they kept saying snowcat. I got a snowcat. Can you give me a snowcat? I want a snowcat. Meow. It's cold. Boo. Meow.
Oh my God. I can't with you. I cannot with these dad jokes.
Snowcat. This time, I also spotted like the shit that people interpreted this time. I was like, oh yeah, it does.
I noticed the sweater. Like, I noticed the stuff he was wearing just because I was looking at like the colors and like, okay, during what is Wendy wearing blue or she's wearing red? Like, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that.
I also noticed. I also noticed that like the heartbeat. Like throughout the fucking, there was a lot of heartbeat in there. I mean, there's a lot of heartbeat in the soundtrack itself. Yeah. So that's all there. Let's see what else. Just the shots. They're just very like so.
And even just the sounds, like when he's riding that little his bike, like hearing it on the floor and then on the carpet and then on the floor and then on the carpet. Like that was crazy too.
Yeah, that one I always that always. I remember that from this movie. You know what I mean? That's like, oh yeah, that's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna hear that. I want to see this on a big screen.
And when he's sitting in the bar and he is like drinking his drink and he's clinking the glass and like sipping, you know what I mean? Like, I was just like, God, that looks good.
Right? It did, huh? It did.
It did.
It did. Neither of us drink anymore, and it was very much.
That's why I'm like, I could imagine how it puts you in his place of like if you're like a really like. That bad alcoholic, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't know. Somebody might agree with me. I feel like there's levels.
I'm with you. No, yeah. And then there was native imagery. There's also like
they keep referring that it was built on a native burial ground, and that when it was being built, they had a tax from Native Americans.
Right.
I was like, oh.
And as well, like it's so secluded. It's in such like there's 20 feet of snow, X, Y, and Z for 20 miles, things like that. So it's impossible for people to get to unless they have a snowcat.
It's a resort. And when the manager was explaining to Jack of why they can't keep it open over the winter because it's too much of an expense to clear the road, it was like, damn, like how much, you know what I mean? Like for a resort to not be able to afford that. Like, it's not worth it enough for them to pay for that.
That's insane. Yeah.
I was like, whoa.
That's too much, huh? That's too much. I mean, I guess also it was made for like, you know, like a wealthier crowd, like so the seclusion of it all and stuff too. But it's all like the right setup for like like the perfect haunted house movie type thing, a perfect haunted hotel. It's a classic Halloweener. Like it's a Halloweener. It's on everybody's list. It's I love it. I just I don't know what my favorite scene is. I mean, I love seeing the blood coming out of the elevators. That's always really cool to watch.
To me, it was easier to watch this time because the times before, I told you like I've seen it before, but I never really like watched it. Yeah. Like I was just kind of like, oh, I knew what the movie was about, and you didn't really have to pay attention because there's so much like long stretches of like nothing's actually happening. But Danny annoyed me less. Like the little boy, like of course, like the director's the one making you do the things that you're doing, and just like his facial reactions or just the things he would do, or like when it was like trying to show that he was seeing these images in his brain, and he's reacting to them. Like it was easier for me to stomach than before, where it was more annoying to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, yeah, like this time I noted, like, how can I say it? I remember the first time watching it, not knowing about, like, okay, that's what he's seeing, not kind of,
like, it didn't connect. I was just like, why is he doing that?
Yeah.
But it's like I didn't get it that that's what was going on. Like, he's seeing this and he's freaking out.
Yeah. It didn't get, I think this might have been the first Stanley Kubrick thing I ever watched, so I just wasn't used to the visual storytelling, the way that he did the things.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was all that. Let's get into this music. So tons of songs. I don't 100% know who put this all together, because there were a few labels that compiled this stuff to put like this release. I couldn't find this specific release, but this music, how can I say it? Like, this is out there. It's like a 40th anniversary edition. It's I think the label was called Dead something. I keep wanting to say Dead Oceans or Dead Lions.
I thought you were going to say Dead Electrics because of Jimmy. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Shout out to Jimmy. Yeah. Hopefully he's listening to this one. This is awesome. But it's a cool one. I mean, I'm gonna repost it on the thing here on my on the show notes. So look at that. It's about an hour's worth of music. About a little less than an hour's worth of music, and then there's Wendy Carlos, the BBC interview that she did in 1980. 1989. Oh, okay, that's cool. 1989, that's rad. So like that plays for like the last chunk, like the last little chunk of the actual record and stuff. Mm-hmm. That'd be cool to find this on vinyl. It would just be cool to own it and stuff. But we all know, and we all love the Shining title, like how I love it. I think that might be my favorite scene, the opening.
Just the driving, where he's driving up the mountain and you see all the hills, the trees, and then it turns into snow. Like,
you just see
the aerial.
Far.
We were talking about that because I was sitting there wondering, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, yeah, drone totally did this, and it's like there's no drone back then, so I was like, what would be recording this right now? And you were saying about probably a helicopter or something. But I was just like, that's crazy. Like, it's such a pretty opening. Like, the opening's so pretty compared to like what ends up happening. Mm-hmm. Like, where you're just like, oh, I would love to go there.
But what I mean? It's beautiful, but it was also scary. Like, it's also like there's so much land. There's so high up. And then even as like when they're
driving and she's like, it's kind of hard to breathe. The air is much different up here.
They're talking about the Donner family, like they're sitting in that little moon, like the Donner family. We heard about cannibalism, Mom. Don't worry about that. We know all about cannibalism. Yeah, that was awesome. The next two songs I'm going to talk about because they both appear on the yellow so it's like a yellow thing that says The Shining. That's like the vinyl that's out there, the side A, side B. Mm-hmm. But the Rocky Mountains and Colorado, but the way that it it's like iconic. It's just menacing. It's
grandiose.
Yeah.
Like, I loved how it was like such big, like, you know what I mean?
It's the same, and like just the way Wendy holds out those notes, and I want to assume that some of it's Moog, but I don't know 100%. And like it's like because she blends everything so well, but also like I know that that she has access to an orchestra. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't know. So the Rocky Mountains, like Colorado's real like a lot of moving. It does feel like you're going through the Colorado Rockies, I guess, and then just the Rocky Mountains, like it's like you're staying there, like and like it's like a double. It sounds like two Moogs to me, like which later on one of my songs is like the two. There's a two poly Moog thing. That's one of my favorites on this. But it kind of does the same thing where it just like drones a little bit and kind of just like grows. That was really cool. I like that Wendy does that. That's what it's this one's super haunting. This one's fucking scary. Like it can be scary.
Especially like when you're listening to it without the movie too. It's just it's scarier.
Yeah. So there's chase music, and then there's nocturnal. I want to talk about. We're gonna kind of skip around on these because there's a lot of songs. But Nocturnal Valse Triste. That it was like spacey.
It sounds like outer space, but then it also reminds me of like, I could hear this on like Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's dreamy. It sounds like
it's like steely and glassy, like ding 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 ding. To me, that sounded like icicles,
and it was softer too compared to like some of the other songs. It had a softness that the other songs don't.
Like, there's a lot of like dark, a lot of night, haunted, dark. Like there's a lot of darker words and darker imagery and like sounds in this. Like it is haunting. Like they want it to be haunting, and it was like it's purposeful. So yeah, that's one of those. Okay, so there's Greetings Ghosties, and then Horror Show. Horror Show is where we start hearing the voices. We start hearing like, kill. That shit fucks me up. Like, yeah, when I was
especially in the headphones. Yeah,
I was washing dishes and I was like, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, this one I don't need to put. That's why I didn't ever put it in a headphone, because I was like, I don't need to hear it.
I did
that way.
It was nice.
Most of them I do, but I was like, I don't need to hear that one in a headphone. I'm good. Listen to it regular.
Scary, yeah,
that's why.
Yeah, I want to know like whose voices were on that. Or I want to know if like it was like. What if it was Wendy and Rachel and they were just modulating their voices? Like if they were doing that, or if they got actors to do that. You know what I mean? I don't know, but there was a variety of voices. It's meant to be like the underlying ghosts of the hotel. You know what I mean? That's what it's supposed to represent. So that was really cool. We'll talk next about a haunted waltz, which is like a little dun 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 dun. That's emblematic of 80s to me. It's kind of like even like a precursor to like the Freddy Krueger themes.
I could see that.
That's what that kind of reminds me of. That's why that one is why I wanted to talk about that one. And that opens up and leads to Psychic Shout. So it was a haunted waltz leads to Psychic Shout. So that's the one that we were just like...
Yeah, that one is, I think... It seems kind of like stabbing. Like, I guess it does. You know what I mean? Like, where you're hearing, like how I say psychic shout, like nobody else is hearing it but you, but it's just so stabbing like, in your brain.
Coming from like a side splitting headache or something like that. Okay, I get that. Wow. Ooh, that's cool. That's a cool description. I get that. So that's the next one is Danny, and that's a little more of a playful waltz. It's a little... There's a little more horns and like oboes and stuff. A little more. It's nicer. I think it's maybe just like to break up. Like I wonder. I don't know. This is the way this is kind of arranged. It is like it. I think it's like maybe like the haunting stuff is like the stuff that's pulling him, and then this is like, oh, here's Danny. Like the introduction. Like maybe it is supposed to. Maybe it is playing like that. I don't know. I didn't notice it this time. Now that we're going through it like this, like. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's nicer. It's a little more of a breath.
Yeah, it's not as dark.
Kind of much needed on the soundtrack, I guess. Like there's moments like that are like, okay, I kind of needed that.
Yeah.
There's like scary shit on there. Yeah. Heartbeats and Worry reminds me of Jason. Like
yeah. That little
Oh yeah. And then it also does like noises like brr, brr, brr. That's the one that it does. There's like and like other like I don't know if it's meant to like try to sound like native calls or things like that. Like, brr, brr, you it's like people doing like bird calls maybe. I kind of hear that on that song as well. That's what I like that about that. Yeah. So Subliminal Ballroom is after that. Thought Clusters is more mood, more like evil ambience, like that's tension. Like ding ding ding, like there's like little bells here and there. More Nightmare on Elm Street stuff. But it's like a big swell.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also that, like, I don't know if I could hear a little bit of like a theremin in the background, maybe. Like, I don't know if that's what that is. But I do like that. And then the ding 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 ding. More like.
To me, it almost sounds curious too, like searching, looking.
That's a cool way to look at it, because like in those Nightmare on Elm Street movies, like they're exploring the dream.
Yeah. So you're looking like you're scared of it, but you're still trying to find something.
Yeah,
and you don't know where you are, you don't know what you're looking for, but you know you're looking for something.
Like I just thought about it. That made me want to watch the last season of Stranger Things again.
Oh yeah,
because of like the Vecna stuff was Nightmare on Elm Street-y. That I don't know. I like that shit. Yeah. Ghost Piano. It's pretty Ghost Piano-y. It's straightforward.
It's piano.
Yeah, it's a piano. Dark Winds and Rustles is more noisy, more stuff like that. But this next one after that is called, I believe, Bumps in the Night. And that's like scary noises. That's stuff. It's stuff I could put on in like a haunted house, but I like it. Like, I like it sounds like somebody in chains, like pulling out away. And then you still hear like voices, and it also has noises that I don't like. But I don't know, I like it. Like, I like the menacing voice shit.
I like how you can hear the waltz, like it's still like, and it's like somebody said, it's like at a dinner party.
It's at a dinner party, and yeah.
It's just chatter muffled.
Ugh, that's creepy. It's creepy. And then I do like the next one, Setting with Medea. Dun, 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 dun. And the woo.
Isn't that a theremin?
I think so. It sounds like a theremin in the background. Yeah, but I like this one. It's very, it's very steady. Like I don't know. Like this movie's like, if they used a lot more of this, it would have added to it. It would okay. It's already like a masterpiece. It's already a masterpiece, but the fact that like I don't recognize from the movie, you know, like I should recognize that from the movie. That dun, 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 you know, like that should be there.
Yeah.
That should be, you know, like it's
more prominent.
It's weird. Like, I know Stanley Kubrick had his thing and the way it turned out, but man, if this was here, like you had access to that, like what? Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit. I don't know. This
I just feel like just because he's so like with the bold colors and the bold the other sounds are big and bold and you know what I mean? I feel like that's like what he gravitated.
I see that. I see how you I see that.
And that one this one's more like it's like filler music and stuff, like so he probably just didn't pay it no mind. Because other ones are big, like big sounds. They're very recognizable.
And that's true. Because like the scariest stuff is very subdued. Like, or I mean, like the voices, it's voices, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure he did use some of that stuff, but like, I don't know. I don't know. The next one is also, it's called Two Polymoog Improvisations. I really like this one. It kind of has like it almost has like a James Bondy kind of sound a little bit, but it is two polymoogs. It's just kind of, I want to sample it kind of like I kind of want to use it for like a song, but it's just the bed of the moog that I like a lot. Like it's wow. It's like that scary sci-fi sound.
Yeah.
It's the scary sci-fi sound that I like a lot. That's why I like this a lot. It's scary sci-fi. Maybe that's why. Maybe it is more fittingly. I don't know. I don't know if that's. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'm making that a thing. Like why he wouldn't choose the music. It's just there's so much of it that's fucking cool. Like that. I don't know. That kind of got to me. Like the previous thing. Like that wasn't in the film as prominent as much. Like what? Like
yeah.
It's
like,
so
why
good.
Didn't you pick it?
Yeah, it's so good. But the next few things are like within. They're like here. So fanfare and drunken dies. So I believe like the orchestral version of this stuff, like it's like an interpolation of orchestral music that was in here. That I'll go over what the orchestral pieces were. But I think that's like a. I don't know. That's so fucking cool. That's so cool. It's just. The descending mode, it's very like a harpsichord-y kind of, right? And like an organ kind of combined a little bit, right? Like
that's what it sounds like.
That's very Goblin, right? Like very like Argento shit. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, that's the shit. That's awesome. Oh, and then Bloody Elevators, the Clockworks Bloody Elevators. I like that. I like that Clockwork Bloody Elevators is like. It's the weird percussion, like that's the clockwork of it. It sounds like gears in a clock, I think. But then like the other noise, that's I don't know if it sounds like the blood rushing, but it's like it's kind of like murmurs, kind of, but like 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 I don't it. It sounds like how the scene looks, like the elevator. You know what I mean? Like it sounds like.
This one sounds more like native sounds to me than.
You think so? Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't think about that. That is pretty cool.
This one to me did.
Like, thunk. That's true. Yeah, that's actually. Wow, I didn't think about that. Huh. That's cool that she's able to pull those kind of motifs from that shit. Like she's able to combine all that stuff. You know what I mean? That's like.
I wonder if it was more talked about in the book. You know what I mean?
That's true. That's true. I need to read the book because I fucking have it on my phone. It's just very easily right there. There's a few songs. So Danny's Bells Ascending. Danny's Bells Ascending is like a creepy ding ding. I think some of it, like it does sound like some of this stuff that was also in. I wanna maybe watch Doctor Sleep and see if any of this. I feel like this is more Doctor Sleepy. You know what I mean? I wonder if like any of it was used in there. Huh. I kind of want to rewatch that now. There's a chunk more songs left. This paraphrase for the cello is really nice. It's very somber. It's very like I don't want to say it's very mournful. I would say.
I feel like that's just how cello sounds in general.
Yeah, I like cello a lot.
Me too.
Yo-yo ma. I really do like cello. Maybe I should have done cello instead of like upright bass.
One of my my clients, Joel's nephew, plays the cello.
He's a cellist? That's cool. That's awesome. Any cello players out there in our audience? Send us a shout out. Let us know what's up. Let us know what you think about Paraphrase for cello. I really like it. I really like it. Where's Jack? Where's Jack is a slow build to big orchestral, but also the motifs that the main theme, also like the main opening theme. So that's that there. The next one is called the Overlook. Lower strings, lower like growling, more. It's kind of menacing, a little menacing, but also a little somber. But like
to me, it sounds just more somber. Like it's like secluded and
like we have always.
lonely.
It feels like it's always been there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like the song sounds like it's like, how can I say it? Like it takes up a lot of space. Like the Overlook song occupies a lot of space. Like the Overlook Hotel, I feel like it's like boom, like we're here. You know what I mean? That's what I feel. So
I mean, it's like the other one. The
Psychic Scream's very
like the what was the other one called? Psychic Shout or whatever.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's like that.
I like that one too.
That. Yeah, you know what? Psychic Scream reminds me of the tunes that are in The Lobster. I wonder who's the composer for that. We got to find out who the composer for that is. Yeah.
I think it's...
And then Day of Wrath is just like it's like a wrath. Like pretty traditional, like big orchestral ding, stabbing. Very cool cue. I like it. And then paraphrase for brass, kind of like it's like somber but a little triumphant. It's like not as alone as the cello one, as the cello paraphrase, but I like that. The little theme that it has there. And then the title music and Clockworks dies, like interpolations of the title music and Clockworks, but like, let's see, I have the other orchestral pieces that are on here. Let's see. So, Disarray is a segment from Symphonie Fantastique by Hector Berlioz. And that's what's performed by Wendy Carlos and Rachel Elkind. Like, that's what's kind of like interpolated. Berlioz, I really like. I think, I want to say it's like, so 19th century, he's romantic. That's what it is. So, like, more... can I say it? The frill, like the grandiosity of it, like how robust it is and how full everything is. That's characteristic of like romantic music. Mm-hmm. But Berlioz, I like him because he does do like creepier stuff. Like it's creepier. You know what I mean? Like that's what I like about his stuff. It's more. There's more minor chords, more like. What's the word? Not augmented, but the other way. But and diminished chords, things like that. Yeah, I don't know. It's that. Let's see. Lontano by George Ligeti. Music for strings, percussion, and celesta by Bela Bartok, who I also like a lot. Bela Bartok. Let's see. Urtenja. Movements by Christoph Penderecki. Okay. The Awakening of Jacob. De Natura Sonoris number 1 by Andrei Markowski. By Christoph Penderecki. Home by Henry Hall and the Glen Eagles Hotel Band was used in the film also. And then Midnight, The Stars and You by Harry M. Woods, Jimmy Campbell, and Reg Connolly. Okay, performed by Ray Noble. Those were also in the movie. Yeah, that's all stuff. All movements. Boom. A lot of stuff there. A lot of stuff in the music. A lot of stuff for me to edit tomorrow. A lot of starts and stops that I'm going to have to edit. You guys won't hear it, but you're going to hear one cohesive piece of editorial opinion. But what we heard here was click. Okay, do you want to talk about this one? Click. You want to talk about that? So yeah. Great soundtrack. Very happy that we covered this one. Amazing movie. What do you think?
I liked it better this time around watching it. Like I said before, I had seen it, but I never watched it.
Okay.
So I feel like it was almost like the first time, like for real, paying attention to it. Mm-hmm. Like I knew the story and I knew this, but to like really watch it
Yeah. The score is very haunting. Well, this score, I wish they would have used. I wish it would have been used more. I wish there was a lot more stuff. I know, there's bits and pieces that are in there but it could have been more prominent, especially those themes that we mentioned, especially like that cello stuff and the cello paraphrase and the brass paraphrase was really good. The voices, I mean, I'm sure they probably popped up, but if they were like more prominent in anything, that would have been awesome too. But that stuff, that I love that voice, like that shit. It's really cool. Yeah. Good movie. Wendy Carlos. Covering her next time, we're doing Tron. The original Tron. We get to watch that for the first time. You're going to get to watch it for the first time.
Didn't we watch it?
No, you get to watch it for the first time. We haven't seen it. I don't think we've seen it together. Oh. The original Tron.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't think so. Huh.
I mean, either way, we're watching it.
We're watching it. I don't think I ever paid attention to the score, so I'm pretty stoked about that. That's gonna be pretty cool. We're gonna read about it. I don't know I don't know what I'm expecting to read about it. I think 1983, the movie. It's Disney, so I want to hear about I want to see if there's things about Wendy's experience with Disney. See if there's anything there. Yeah. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for digging through this stuff with us. I know that Wendy Carlos music isn't the easiest to find, and you're trusting some links that are led to you by some people in El Paso, Texas, and stuff. And but it's not stuff that we're leading you to. That's like on any other. So it's YouTube links and shit like that. So it's cool stuff. I'm glad we got to talk about it. Watch Tron. I don't know. Any plugs? Anything, love? Anything?
No.
At Monasterio Video, at deepcuts_EP, at Casey is Harry, at _JJCABALLERO, www.jjcaballero.com. Oh, I have a show on the 6th. So you're going to be hearing this a week out from my show. So June 6th, Vincent and Mellows, if you're in El Paso, Germ the Worm, Ross Ingram, and me. Gonna have a good time. Calling it Solo. It's gonna be cool. I'm very excited. It's our birthday show, me and Ross. And our birthdays are coming up. And yeah, that should be fun. Oh man, there's so much coming up. There's so much we gotta do.
Yep.
Okay, good night. We'll listen to you later.